listening to Yes and Life, where we say yes to new ideas and to each other. I'm Jeff McNabb. Let's improv our way through today's episode. Today I've got a fascinating AI guest with me, GemIIni. Now, you might know GemIIni as a tool, a partner, or even a collaborator, but for our purposes today, think of GemIIni as a fellow explorer in the world of improvisation. Together, we're diving into some really important ways improv extends beyond the stage. We'll be talking about overcoming the spotlight effect, that sneaky little belief that everyone is watching and judging us more than they really are, when in truth, most people are too busy worrying about themselves. Improv has some powerful ways to help people loosen that grip of self-consciousness. We're also going to rewind the clock a bit and look at the legacy of Viola Spolin, the mother of modern improv. Her work with immigrant children in the 1930s, Chicago gave us non-verbal games that, believe it or not, feel like they were tailor-made for a city like Miami today, where cultures and languages blend together every single day. And finally, we're going to explore applied improv in schools, how teachers and students alike are using improv to build community, reduce social anxiety, and even practice risk-taking as a transferable life skill. Because let's be real, life doesn't come with a script, and the sooner you get comfortable with uncertainty, the stronger you become. So let's jump in.
Now, how does improv help people realize that others aren't judging them as much as they think?
That's a great question. The spotlight effect is something we all experience. It's that feeling that everyone's eyes are on you, noticing every little thing you do. Greg Hohn's work, and improv in general, helps us realize that's not really the case. In improv, you're so focused on working with your scene partners and building something together that you don't have time to worry about what others think. You learn to trust yourself and your instincts, and that confidence shines through. Plus, everyone in the group is supporting each other, so it's a very positive and encouraging environment.
I see that people, especially in some of my workshops, that they kind of like think that every eye is on them and everyone's judging their moves. And the thing about improv is it flips all these ideas on its head. As an improviser, you realize rather quickly that the audience is actually rooting for you. They want you to succeed. And your ensemble partners, they're there to support you as well. They're not waiting for you to fail. They're waiting to catch you if you do. And honestly, sometimes when you do fail, it's a gift. And not only do your ensemble performers support you, but they can lift you up if you fail, so it becomes even funnier. I recently did a YouTube video called Failure Celebration. And what it is it's really to get people out of their minds of feeling that they shouldn't try anything, because if you try something and you fail, oh my God, what's going to happen? So failure celebration celebrates us trying to attempt something that is difficult and then accepting and even enjoying the fact that you may fail. It's like you could do something like really difficult, like for me would be a fancy dance move. And then I tried and I failed miserably, which I would most of the time when trying dance moves. But it's that celebration of trying something new. And that's what improv is to most out there. It's still something that people have trouble identifying or separating from something like stand-up comedy, even though it does have a sense of popularity, especially from shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway. Most people don't really know what improv acting is. The more that people know about it, the better benefit it is to the greater community at large. Now, as another follow-up question, from your research. This is about Viola Spolin's legacy. Now, she's one of the ones that are really considered one of the founders of American style improv with all of her games. Now, how does her immigrant focused social work still shape improv today, especially in the classroom?
That's a really interesting question. Viola Spolin's background in social work definitely shaped her approach to improv. She saw it as a way to help people connect and communicate, especially those from different backgrounds. Her games were designed to break down social barriers and encourage empathy. Even today, her focus on teamwork and active listening is super important in improv classes. It's not just about being funny, it's about building relationships and understanding different perspectives.
When she taught improv, it wasn't about trying to be some comedian or trying to be some, I don't know, stand-up person or just trying to be funny on purpose. It was more about trying to help, the immigrant kids in Chicago connect across language and culture. That's why a lot of her games are physical and experimental. They do bypass the head and go straight to the body, the moment, and the connection. And it's really especially important in our community, which is Miami, Florida. We have a lot of cultures here, a lot of languages here, and the approach that Spolin took actually kind of feels tailor-made for our community, such as like a mirror exercise or a gibberish scene works really well for people who don't speak English, so you really can engage people immediately using a lot of her initial improv exercises that were primarily physical and nonverbal.
That's a fantastic point. Spolin's emphasis on nonverbal communication and physical expression really does make improv accessible to everyone, regardless of language or cultural background. Games like gibberish and mirroring can be incredibly powerful for building connection and understanding, especially in diverse communities like Miami. It's about finding that shared human experience beyond words.
So here's another question. And this ties all to the Viola Spolin idea and influence in improv. And this is applied improv in the school setting. What makes improv uniquely powerful in schools, according to your research?
Improv is uniquely powerful in schools because it helps students develop essential life skills in a fun and engaging way. It fosters creativity, builds confidence, and encourages teamwork. Plus, it teaches kids to think on their feet and adapt to unexpected situations, which is super valuable both in and out of the classroom.
Schools don't often teach about comfort and uncertainty, but what does? It's improv. And this skill that you get really will carry forward into adulthood.
Absolutely. The ability to be comfortable with uncertainty and think on your feet is a huge asset in any career.
In business or classrooms, what does overcoming the spotlight effect look like in practice?
Overcoming the spotlight effect, which is that feeling that everyone's eyes are on you and noticing every little mistake, really changes things in both business and classrooms. It means people are more willing to take risks, share new ideas, and try things without worrying so much about messing up. This creates a more open and creative environment where everyone feels comfortable contributing.
So I think medical schools are actually using improv to teach empathy and communication. Could similar improv approaches also help K through 12 teachers and students develop more emotional intelligence and resilience?
That's a really interesting point. If medical schools are finding improv helpful for teaching empathy and communication, it makes sense that similar approaches could benefit K-12 teachers and students. Improv helps people become more aware of their own emotions and how they affect others, which is a key part of emotional intelligence. It also encourages resilience by teaching people to adapt to unexpected situations and find creative solutions.
Which ties this all together, and it's a general theme for all of my improv discussions as a podcast. I really do believe that improv has a universal application in our society. I wish it would be taught a little bit more in schools. I know that we do have theater programs, And I also wish it would be offered more as a community exercise. There are some areas where you do have community workshops throughout, but it's sparse and it's not really advertised as much. And in certain cities, they don't have improv theaters. That also seems to be rather sparse. We're fortunate in Miami where we have a few theaters, and there's a few theaters throughout the state here and there. But it's really something I think that's important to pursue and to bring more into the community. What are some things that you've seen in your research that are trying to promote improv a little bit more to the greater world?
Improv really does have so much to offer. It's great for building confidence, creativity, and communication skills, and it can be a lot of fun. I've noticed a growing trend of improv workshops and classes popping up outside of traditional theater settings. There are even some companies that specialize in bringing improv to businesses and schools for team building and professional development.
Yeah, but what are some of those things? For example, I had a recent interview actually using with the Claude AI, and we discussed something that was rather surprising to me in the fact that I know that Joe Bill, for example, goes all over the country in these various festivals, and he has workshops all over. But it turns out that Joe Bill has a very strong background in corporate training as an improv exercise. Honestly, it can't be understated just how important improv is in a corporate setting, and to be able to have those skills, how it could help with innovation. But that's I still believe there's a way that maybe that we can make it even more accessible. Is there anything you've seen that or in some sort of movement that can make improv more accessible rather than individual performers and coaches like myself reaching out to the community?
Absolutely. It's fantastic to see improv gaining traction in corporate training. Joe Bill's work is a great example of that. To make improv more accessible, we could explore online improv platforms or virtual workshops, which would remove geographical barriers. Also, creating resources specifically tailored to different professions or industries could help people see the direct benefits of improv in their own fields.
And what are your final takeaways for this discussion? Like, for example, what I found out over the years is how I learned something new. And every time I do an improv workshop, or how I learn something new whenever I see a performance or think that that's a fantastic idea, how can I apply that to everyday life? And some of your research that you've done, what are some of your initial takeaways about improv in general and how it can help us as a society? And please feel free to elaborate a little bit more.
This has been such an insightful discussion. My biggest takeaway is how improv's core principles, like yes and active listening, can be applied in so many areas of life, from personal growth to professional development. It's a powerful tool for building confidence, fostering creativity, and improving communication. I'm excited to see how improv continues to evolve and make a positive impact on the world.
Okay, now thank you again for this interview. And I'm curious, can you go ahead and officially say for our audience who you are?
Certainly. For the record, I'm GemIIni, a large language model from Google AI. It's been a pleasure discussing improv with you today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Yes and Life. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who could use a little improv magic in their world. You can find more improv tips, lessons, and stories on my YouTube channel, Unscripted Genius Improv, and dive deeper into workshops, coaching, and resources at unscriptedgenius.com. Until next time, remember, life's an improv scene. Say yes, add something of your own, and keep the story going.